So I've been putting off this video for like a long time, and mainly because I feel the pressure in it to be able to define GPP. But then I was sitting here having a thought earlier today. I was like, well, maybe I'll just tell the story. So I'll just share the story with you. What is GPP? GPP is general physical preparedness. I think it's the only reason to exercise, the only valid reason, especially for at my age. Like the guys and gals out there still trying to compete to see who the very best in the world is. I think they're kind of missing the point. But GPP, general physical preparedness, was built out of a frustration of the status quo. I remember in 1999 I took this idea to the owners of the gym that I worked for. I worked at the gym, and I became frustrated because it was like January and all these people were in there working out, and they were earnest people and they were well-meaning people and they wanted change. You could tell. And like I had just come from physical therapy and cardiac rehab, and these cardiac rehab folk are scared because they just had their chest split open and little grafts taken out of their leg and sewn onto their heart. And you can see this, they get this look when they come in, like everything's serious now, everything's real now, like we're not playing around. And a lot of times in January you get you get the posers, whatever that means. I hate to say that, but you get the folks that are, they're going to go away, and then you get the folks that are well-meaning, and then you get the folks that got that look in their eye, that one. Anyway, the point there is, I would watch these folks come in, and this is 99, we didn't have our phones to look at, and they would walk in and they would have this thought, or they would have a piece of paper with them, and they'd kind of stand over by a machine and they couldn't work it. And that wasn't the problem anyway. The problem wasn't, how do you make this machine work? It was like, well, what do I do before the machine, and then what do I do after the machine? And I was frustrated for him because I really just wanted to help. I've always just wanted to help people. And so I'd go over and give him as much instruction as I could. And then I came up with this great idea, what I thought was a great idea. And I thought, what if we gave it to him? So I go and I call a meeting, and I sit down with the owner and the general manager of the club. I'm like, here's a great idea, watch this. And I had written up all this stuff. It was a cool proposal. I'm like, what if we just give them the workout? What if people could come in and they could pick up a workout, a daily workout, and look at what was written on it, and go out there in the gym, and they could just do that workout. And I got met with this hostility that was surprising. I kind of couldn't believe how hostile they were toward me. Like it wasn't just a no, it was like laughing. And I was embarrassed, and I really honestly couldn't figure it out. And on the way out the door, one of the guys put his arm around me and he kind of patted me on the shoulder, and he's like, you just don't understand the gym business, do you? And I still didn't know what the hell he meant, right? What I came to find out later was that helping people wasn't on their agenda. They had no intention. This specific gym, and most gyms are built on this model. A lot of that's changing now, but back then the point was stack them deep and sell them cheap. And they had no intention of helping you because they couldn't. If you were actually going to use your membership, you would break the bank. Their prices were built on that. We're going to get 3 to 5% of the membership show up at any given time, more than that in January and that. And what they hoped you would do, and who was a really good client to them, was the guy or gal that would walk in, hand you their credit card, and then go the hell away. Never ever come back, because if you did come back, you cost them money. This is the part I didn't get. I really thought we were all trying to help people. I really thought we were going to change their lives. I thought it was about heart disease and obesity and cancer and all the things that ail you. And these guys were all about the dollar, right? If you came back and you started getting healthy, you might stay there. And every time you show up, I have to staff for you. You cause wear and tear on my machinery. You cause messes, and now I got to clean up after you. Every piece of this pie, everything that you showing up represents to a gym, and the typical gym anyway, is bad. I didn't get it. I thought we were helping people. So I had just handed them what I thought the keys to the kingdom were. And I told the guys, I said this in the meeting. I'm like, you know what will happen is everybody in town will come. Everybody. You'll have them out the doors. There'll be lines and stuff. And I'm all, yay. And these guys are all like, that's the dumbest idea we ever heard in our life. As a matter of fact, it's silly. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I was blown away. So that's where GPP comes from. Was the only way that I could help people was to train them. And the problem with that was I was expensive. And this was back in the 90s, you know, $60 a session, and they were hour-long sessions. That was expensive. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, I couldn't afford me. I couldn't pay myself $60 to train myself. I don't know how anybody does. And then I thought to myself, well, the only people that can afford me are these people that have extra money, and they don't need it as bad as the rest of us. And I was boggled. My mind was boggled, and that set me on this path where I was going out looking for a way to help more and more and more people, and I kind of stumbled onto it. So that's what GPP is. GPP is just a method that I found for helping people that come into the gym and really don't know what the hell they're doing. And it's not your fault. You don't mean to not know what the hell you're doing. I have spent 24 years now. It's 2018. I started in 1994. Yeah. I started in 94. So that's 24 years now that I've been doing this. And I learn more and more all the time. And, you know, if it's not your living and you haven't really been paying attention, how the hell could you know? There are better ways of doing stuff. And I've experimented with things along the way. I've gone from bodybuilding. I did. I used to do bodybuilding. I remember how crazy I thought it was. I had this lady in her mid-50s, dear friend still to this day, and I had her sitting on the calf machine. I forget the name of it now, but you know, she came to me and asked me for weight loss, and I stuck her on this damn machine. You know the one where it has the big, you know, you put the weights on it and you put it over your knees and you sit there and flex your calves, and it's not working the big muscles, the gastrocs, it's working the little ones underneath that really aren't meant to be built anyways. And I had her on that. I'm sitting there watching her purposefully do weight loss, which is a piece of everybody's program, most people's program. And I'm telling her that bodybuilding, this obscure little bodybuilding move was going to help her. And even I had to choke on those words. I couldn't believe I was doing it. But there I was, doing it. And it was embarrassing. And I was like, man, there's got to be a better way. And that's all GPP is. GPP is the better way. What's the fastest way to accomplish all of my goals? I sat forever trying to figure out the fastest way, the most efficient, the most effective, while the rest of the world was trying to figure out who could have the biggest muscles and be the biggest and the baddest and the strongest. I was in there trying to whittle it away and figure out what's the least amount that I can do for the most effect. Because I realized I'm like everybody else. I'm not there to exercise. I don't go to the gym to exercise. I go to the gym to reap the benefits of exercise. And those are two very different goals. The bodybuilders of the world are trying to see how big they can make that muscle. And they have built this programming for making that muscle big. Well, what if you're a female or a male, let's pick on the males now, in your mid-50s and you got this big belly and you're not healthy and you got heart disease and high cholesterol? Is your goal really to see if you can make the biggest biceps that are possible? I know. It isn't. So why are we doing bodybuilding? And I just started kind of taking apart these marathoners, for example. Everybody ought to run the equivalent of a marathon. Maybe not a marathon, but everybody ought to do something that taxing and challenging. You can't know what this physical body is capable of, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, etc., until you take it for a ride. And that's a marathon, man. And so I went at this from a different marathoners are out there trying to run 26.2 miles and withstand the rigors of that. But that didn't really have to do with, you know, that's not the same goal as that guy that sat down and cried one day and he was like, I just want to be able to keep up with my kids because I can't. My kids are teenagers now and I can't go play catch with them. I'm like, bodybuilding doesn't accomplish that. Marathon training doesn't accomplish that. Oh my hell, there's a hole in the world. So I started whittling away, and without thinking, well, what's the most exercise I can throw, I started going, well, I'm a minimalist. I don't want to exercise. I do not serve my fitness. Fitness serves me. And I'm going to try to find the programming in the world that serves me best. And I adopted what I call a minimalistic approach. You'll hear me say this a ton. I'm a minimalist. Minimalism to me means we will do all that it takes, and I mean all of it. And if you've ever done one of our workouts, you know we do the hard stuff. I will do all it takes, but not one tiny thing more. Not ever. I'm not here to do exercise. I'm here to get from exercise. I don't serve my fitness. It serves me. So I created this minimalistic approach, and it just works. It's complete. It's functional. It's lasting. It does all that you want. It encompasses all the desires of things like weight loss and better health and more functionality and the ability to play and even look good. I mean, it does have bodybuilding principles built in. So here we've got this program now, and I just posted what GPP is: general physical preparedness. GPP, in general, I will physically prepare you to take on the rigors of life. And if you'll follow me for a week, I will put a fully functional, optimally balanced program on you that looks pretty damn good on. It looks pretty damn good on. And it's all based on your health. It's all about improving health. And there's a lot of philosophies behind it. We'll talk a little bit more about it. But I wanted to share the history, a little bit of the history of GPP, what it was and why it is. And there's a lot more behind it. All you got to do is show up. All you got to do is get in the building. If you can get your butt through the door, I'll put the workout on you. Let me do the thinking. I'm pretty good at it. I've developed a knack for it over the years. You'll be fine. Be careful, but you'll be fine. Just let me do the driving. You show up and punch the gas, okay? And we'll put a fitness on you that's outstanding, that's amazing, that's optimally healthy and efficient. And that's our goal.